Hey guys, so this is me with no makeup on my face, so please excuse this thing going on. I just woke up a little bit ago and I was just cleaning some of my stuff and I came across two of my planners, and honestly I was just going to throw everything out because I have like so many books that I never threw out because I would hoard books. But I figured before I threw them out, I would just share my tips with you on how I organize my planner, because my planners are my life, and I always tried, I have tried to use Google Calendar and like the Apple Calendar, but I've never been able to use online tools like that because I'm more of the person that needs to handwrite everything. So I've stuck to using handwritten planners, and they are my lifesaver. And I have two main ones. One is from sophomore year of undergrad, and the second is from junior and senior year of undergrad. And they definitely highlight two very different points in my life, and you will see that. So one thing that I always do in the beginning of every semester is that I would look at all of the syllabi for all of my classes, and I would take out all of my assignment dates and my due dates and my exam dates, and I would just directly copy and paste that into my planner. That way I'd have everything laid out for the entire semester, so I could anticipate when I would have, when I could organize my life around my school. So basically during sophomore year, this is when I was doing a lot of my volunteering, and I was doing a lot of tour guiding and just random things. I was taking more of my pre-med classes, so my planner is very it has a lot of words in it because a lot of it was me dividing up my coursework. So it would be really helpful to put all of the due dates in because I could organize my social life and when I would do all of my extracurriculars around that. So that was super helpful for me. I also color-coded a lot during sophomore year, and what I would do during the first week of the semester is that I would take post-it notes in different colors, one for each class, and on the day that I would have that class, I'd put what class I have and what times it meets and where it meets. And this was really helpful because I was starting off at a new school and I didn't really know where anything was. So on Tuesday and Thursday of the first week, I would have sociology from 8 to 9:15 in a certain building, and I would have that for both of the days of the week. That way I would know, I would just have an idea of where everything is. And by the second week, third week of classes, I'd get totally accustomed to that because I'd be in the rhythm by then. But having those post-it notes helped me to do that. And every time I would get something done, I'd put a check mark next to it, and I would also highlight it. I would do both of those things, and that made me feel super motivated. And as you can see, I really did that for the entire year. I would put everything in my life in my planner, so any open houses that I would have to work at, anything with research, anything with classes, everything would all go in my planner, so I had everything in one space as opposed to in multiple spaces. So that really helped, and I did that for the entire semester, and that was what I did sophomore year. Junior and senior years came around, and I got a lot more busy, and things just came flying my way. Junior and senior years were when I was taking my MCAT, when I was applying to med school, all of that fun stuff, and so I stopped being as color-coded and as organized, and I started being more practical, I'd say, in my junior and senior years. So I would have a lot of papers flying around in my backpack, and I didn't necessarily want to carry around a folder with me, especially if I was taking a purse with me. So what I did was I made a makeshift folder that's totally broken off now, but I made a makeshift folder from photo paper, and I put little documents that I wanted to take around with me, and that was super helpful because I actually used this a lot, and I had multiple little pockets throughout my planner. And there was a time where I had one for each class. So I would definitely recommend it because it helped me out. So as you can see, during the year, I stopped highlighting and I stopped crossing things, checking things off, and I just moved on to directly crossing everything out. And I think it was because that I was so busy that I didn't want to have to see those words anymore. I wanted it completely crossed off after I did it. And as you can see, I was studying for my MCAT, so like I have some MCAT studying schedules. I have this weekend, I was full of MCAT prep. I was doing OChem, GChem, Psych, Soc, Bio, Physics, Biochem, everything. So that was a busy week, and it really helped me to space out my coursework in the beginning of the semester, because I would know when I could go heavy on MCAT studying and when I could go light. And so that's why a planner really helped me out. And online planners never really helped me because I felt like I was looking at one thing at a time. But for me, I'm a more spatial learner, so I need to kind of grasp the whole picture at once, which is why having a planner in front of me really helps. So I really did that for my entire semester, my entire year, crossing things off, and I had like markers that I would use. I even put what my pay period was, like how much I should get paid for every 2 weeks, when I should be reading papers for research, and when I should be asking for letters of recommendation. You know, if things get too busy on a certain day in your planner, I would put post-it notes over that to kind of motivate myself to do the rest of the things I'd have to do. I put when I had interviews for med school and all of that. So it was a very busy year, and I stopped color coordinating and kind of just made sure everything was in a certain space. So as you can see, I definitely involved in my planners, and as I became busier, I started to be less organized, and I cannot imagine how less organized I'll become in my next year as I start med school. If I was getting this busy and less organized now, I can only imagine, which is why I want to start getting organized and start doing everything beforehand, so that I'm not kind of falling off the wagon with that stuff. So this is how I did my planner. Everyone is super different, and for some people, having an online planner will accomplish the same thing that having a handwritten planner did for me. But the number one thing I would advise anybody is to not be afraid to explore different options. Like, everyone is super different, and I thought that one way would work for me, like color coding. I thought that would work for me. But as I got busier, I figured that wasn't feasible, and I tried a different style out, and that actually worked for me. So everyone is different, and I would say do not be afraid to try out different things, because that can really help you out if you just take the time to be creative. So yeah.